Breaking news from President Trump, it's huge. While the list of failures that poured out of the Obama administration are far too numerous to list, one that ranks high near the top is how he totally blew it with radical Islamic terror group ISIS. Remember when he called them junior varsity? More or less asserting they were not a serious threat? Yeah, then they started taking over tons of cities and land in the Middle East, beheading Americans, carrying out attacks on our soil and in Europe. Oh, but ISIS is nothing compared to climate change. Well, it seems the tide is turning on ISIS since President Trump has been in office. New reports from Fox News state that the terror group has lost close to 98% of the territory it once held. Here's more from Fox. ISIS has lost 98% of the territory it once held, with half of that terror group's so-called caliphate having been recaptured since President Trump took office less than a year ago. U.S. military officials said Tuesday. The massive gains come after years of onerous rules, when critics say the Obama administration micromanaged the war and shunned a more intensive air strategy that could have ended the conflict much sooner. The rules of engagement under the Obama administration were onerous. I mean, what are we doing having individual target determination being conducted in the White House, which in some cases adds weeks and weeks, said retired Air Force Lieutenant Gen. David DePetula, the former head of U.S. Air Force intelligence. The limitations that were put on actually resulted in greater civilian casualties. The latest American intelligence assessment says fewer than 1,000 ISIS fighters now remain in Iraq and Syria, down from a peak of nearly 45,000 just 2 years ago. U.S. officials credit nearly 30,000 U.S.-led coalition airstrikes and regional partners on the ground for killing more than 70,000 jihadists. Meanwhile, only a few thousand have returned home. In other words, Trump is making good on his promise to dismantle and destroy the ISIS threat to the United States, and while it may not be happening overnight, it's getting done, bit by bit. There's little doubt much of the success Trump is having is due to the excellent military personnel he has surrounded himself with and the fact he actually listens to their strategies and implements them effectively. However, while ISIS has pretty much been beaten down, they are still an influence in the Middle East, where they are calling upon jihadis all over the world to carry out lone wolf-style attacks all across the globe. Even though this victory is reason to celebrate, it's important to note the danger is not over yet. Unfortunately, there's not likely ever going to be a complete and total end to radical Islamic terrorism. There will always be new groups springing up to take the place of the ones that have been destroyed. The only way to defeat this threat to liberty and life across the planet is through combating its ideology, and this is an area we are sorely lacking in engagement. Regardless, good work, President Trump. Keep it up.